Hello, welcome once again to Living and Active. I'm showing three people here, 2 likes already. That's cool. Welcome to Living Active Live. It's kind of cool. That's how my camera's oriented right now. Uh, Live gathering weekend edition. Some housekeeping things to take care of. Uh, Good evening, Raj. You spelled my name wrong, but it's good to see you. There's no D on the end of it. A couple housekeeping things. If you look in the description box uh, for this live stream that's currently going on, you'll see the link for the previous live stream. After this live stream is done and it's processed and published and everything, I will put in a pinned comment every single YouTube channel that gets mentioned. Hello, Wayne. How are you today, this evening? I try to keep it in the order that they're mentioned in, but my mind isn't all that great sometimes. But if there's a channel that gets mentioned or people from the channel come into the chat, then they appear in the pinned comment in the comment section. For the sake of anybody who is... No, I don't think I could be that cool. I do see that there's a brand of tractors that have that name. That's not me. That's actually there are quite a few since I've been on this earth. There are actually quite a few more Lelands popping up. But the classic spelling of that name is Leland. I am a freak, a mutant, a weirdo. I do not have the D. So, for the sake of the people who will be coming here unawares, unprepared, whatever, the live chat does replay after a certain amount of time after this live stream ends. So if you're going to communicate with others in the live chat, keep in mind it's staying there unless you take it upon yourself to sort of self-moderate. And if you write something dumb, hurtful, whatever in the live chat, you have an opportunity while the chat is still live to highlight the questionable thing, and then go over all the way to the right side of that comment. You'll see the 3 little dots. You click on those, it gives you an option to retract that comment, and you can do that and then just carry on. No harm, no foul. I don't generally get in the habit of censoring what people say. People are people. People say weird things sometimes. I say some things that people think are weird. Other people say things that I think are weird, but we're still here, people trying to be decent people towards each other. So these things are initially intended to be an hour and a half long. They can and usually do go longer, depending on how the conversation is sitting. I think there's only been one live stream so far that has ended right at an hour and a half, and that was because I was in bad shape. I've tried to do due diligence this time. I made sure I ate well enough in advance, and I've got my helps around me, so maybe I can last a little bit longer. I've had a pretty decent amount of rest over the last couple of days, so maybe, perhaps, if need be, then conversations can go on longer if they happen. The reason why conversations are allowed to go longer if they need to be is because these are pretty much intended to be an opportunity. This is a support group, mutual support, reciprocal support, mutually beneficial, with the intent on creating an opportunity, an invitation for people to talk through things that they might not otherwise have a chance to do for their benefit, for other people to learn from, whatever. These things can and probably do get, in most cases, a little less sunshine and rainbows than some people are fond of. But things are dark and heavy, and I think it is the fool and the deluded fool who disallows conversations that can get dark and heavy. I mean, we don't dwell on that stuff here, but if it needs to be said, if it needs to be dealt with, if someone's having trouble, examples deal with examples include disability. I myself am an incomplete quadriplegic at the C6, C7 level of injury. I have all kinds of other stuff going on. Chronic illness, I have one of those, neurodegenerative. But it can be life experiences of abuse, exploitation, addiction, depression, anxiety, truly all of the dark and heavy things. We're coming into dark and heavy times, and if we're going to be any kind of decent towards each other or for ourselves, then we need to relearn how to handle things that aren't dopamine hits and confirmation biases. Because once all of the infrastructure, the digital information infrastructure that everybody lives by, i.e., internet connections and social media and all that, once all that goes away, all you're going to be left standing with is whatever you've been able to pick up beforehand from other people who've been wanting you to be encouraged and equipped for when everything else goes dark and sideways on top of everything you're dealing with. I like the qualification on that, Russ. Not on purpose. I've just come to accept it. I say things that confuse people. I say things that make people angry a lot, not on purpose. I only know how to speak one way, and that is plainly and directly. And a lot of people get offended just because I speak plainly and directly. I'm not couched or swayed by anybody. It doesn't matter how good of friends I am with somebody or how good of friends they think I am with somebody. If something's not correct, and dangerously so in most cases, I'm going to say something. I have extended true information is power. Untrue information is abundant and it causes a lot of damage. Okay, so how's the feed looking? Am I sounding pretty much standard? Just to get that out of the way before I freak out later on and interrupt the conversation. But I agree, Wayne. True information is power. Scripture says that God says of his people, my people perish for lack of knowledge, for lack of wisdom. Excellent. Good. I'm glad I am loud and clear. But there might be, I don't know. I keep people very appreciate that, Roz. People are very well meaning, and I don't know if I'm going to end up having to reschedule these or whatever. But I hear from people that watch the live streams afterwards because I managed to land right in them. And time zones are a thing too. Like I can't schedule around everything. But I've seen, from people that, I land right in the middle of their dinner time or in the middle of their own thing, whatever they're doing on their channel. But people come by in the chat. I've extended a couple invitations this last week for people that I don't know from anywhere on YouTube that I've interacted with directly to come check it out. Don't know if they'll show up or not. So there's that. Sorry, I was in a bit of a rush just before the video because I was trying to get all ready and everything. I had a post that I wanted to do on the, hello Shannon, how are you this evening? It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody. There's a post that I did on my new, I don't know if I'm gonna have a video playlist about it not or yet or not, but it's on the topic home front tactical with old Sarge, me being old Sarge. And it's just real no nonsense tactical considerations for all of the weird stuff that could and probably will happen before too long. But I've got an ongoing project with making a bunch of bleeding control and trauma response kits based on a synthetic fiber sheet that I found at a thrift store that was already cut up into a bunch of predetermined sizes. So I'm just finishing the edges of those, getting them washed up, pairing them up with their um, counterparts, like the smallest ones, initial wound care and cleaning. I've got a whole bunch of those that are stitched up and washed and cleaned or whatever, stacked up, and then they're in a bag with like iodine and wound irrigation fluid um, in their own little set. And then there's an intermediate set where there's a little bit larger bandages. And then there's another, there's two more sets that I'm going to work on, just kind of building my way out from initial wound response out to finishing the dressing into a complete thing that's protecting uh, the entire wounded area, even up to the point of an amputation, just to kind of keep the wound clean, dry, whatever, and make the bandages as, it's gross to say, but you don't never know what's going to happen, as close to reusable or sustainable even as possible. So I don't know about y'all, but if someone launches a 203 round through my window, I don't want to have to sit there and try to tear a t-shirt apart with my teeth just to try to make sure I can get myself patched up and not bleed out before I can get to help. That's just my thinking. Absolutely, Wayne. I agree. Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And, you know, in keeping with my need la minya mentality, it's not for me. If something happens to me, all this stuff is still here. All I got to do is tell whoever's going to be responsible for getting rid of all my crap so this apartment can go to someone else where to find the goody good stuff, and then it can be preserved for or in the custody of someone who can make use of it. Yep. By the way, speaking of which, Shannon, tampons are excellent resources for certain calibers of puncture type wounds. But I live in a very small area, and I don't have a female attached to me in any kind of way. I would rather not answer the questions about why a strapping uh, burly dude like myself is hanging out in the feminine products aisle. This is not questions I'm prepared to answer, realistically speaking. I talk all big and bad, but I'm a junior high kid. When someone comes up to me and like, "What are you looking at, man?" It's for trauma response. Yeah, that's why I got them. I'm getting a lot of them just because trauma is what it is. No, because then Agent Smith is going to start wondering why I'm ordering cases of feminine hygiene products to my address. I've got a lease to keep, man. I don't want Bezos reporting to my landlord that I moved a female in here when I didn't. That's a violation of my lease. I doubt it's that serious, but it's fun to joke about until you realize maybe it is that serious. So how is everyone as you watch me go through my hot drink and my cold drink with my kangaroo paws, my two half a hands? How is everyone? I did get a couple days of rest. I wrote a post about it because I write posts about everything. Because who else am I going to talk to? Um, but I think I need to further explain. Well, I already know that I'm on at least a couple dozen watch lists of various levels of priority just because of the fact that um, white male heterosexual combat veteran, blah 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 blah, uh, various foreign language study materials and all kinds of other things. So I already know. I suffer no delusions that I've been able to keep anybody off my trail. I'm not leaving a trail that leads anywhere, but I can imagine people can take bits and pieces from anything they want to and pretty much convict me of anything. And I'd be like, I guess it does look like that. I don't know. But I was describing uh, part of like this cyclical nature of my good days, bad days, whatever, with the disability, disease, and all that. And I was saying in the post that there's um, a difference between bed days and down days. Bed days are when I'm feeling relatively good and I haven't in a long time. Don't necessarily have a whole lot of energy, but the pain is at the lowest it's going to be in terms of neuropathic pain. Um, I don't have a migraine. I don't have any of these things. So I take the opportunity to, even if I can't sleep, to get as much rest as I can. And so I take the good days, the really, really, really good days, and I stay in bed. And I stay in bed until I get up to go to the bathroom or get little snacks, whatever. But then again, I'm right back in bed, and then I stay in bed until I run out of uh, ways to adjust my position to find any way that's any kind of comfortable. So once my pain starts building back up again, neuropathy, whatever it is, and there's just no way for me to get comfortable, then that's my signal that it's time to get out of bed and actually go back into the cycle of using the energy that I've built up as fast as possible, get as much done as quickly as possible, wear myself out, rest, feel the pain come back in, rest a little bit more, do as much as I can with whatever comes back, and then it's a continuing gradient, like a almost a radioactive half life decay rate of energy to what I'm capable of doing to paying for it with pain or whatever, resting a little bit. And then that goes on for weeks. And then all of a sudden I have another uh, opportunity to just rest and give my body genuine rest from pain and everything else and just be still for a day or two. Well, we think they don't make any use of the list, but I would like to remind everyone um, I would like to remind everyone that after Hurricane Helene and everyone started freaking out about their tactical comms scenarios, and everybody was buying up a dozen or more Baofeng UVR uh, ham radios and GMSR, no, GMRS radios and everything else, and teaching other people how to use these radios, and then talking a bunch of mad smack about what the FCC does and does not enforce. All of a sudden, the FCC started paying attention, and now they've started enforcing all kinds of stuff they haven't even looked at for decades. So they do use them. They just wait for the opportunity to use them in a way that's worthwhile. Mass, shall we say, for mass effect. I'm on a watch list. One for being a believer, two for being a veteran, three for being a father who fought against the legal system for his children, four for openly saying that I don't agree with the identities and the mentalities that have been forced upon my children in the effort to keep them away from me. I'm on a watch list for um, being someone who doesn't behave as, as I have a friend that I annoy greatly when I refer to myself as a misbehaving cripple. Um, but I'm outspoken. I speak directly, whatever, and I have not taken anybody's junk forever. I mean, pre-COVID, all of that stuff. I don't censor. I don't try to talk around all of the people's sensitivities about what words can or can't be seen, watched, or whatever on social media. I do not care. I genuinely do not care. Truth is truth. Truth needs to be spoken, and people are never ever going to heal for their own sakes or with regard to relearning how to just be decent to and with each other unless the truth is allowed to breathe and enunciate its importance again. And that is a good idea. Um, that's a great idea, Shannon. Here's my thought about the Baofeng radios. Truthfully, I remember the Israeli beeper gate thing, and I'm not foolish enough to think that Israel is the only nation smart enough to do something like that. And I think there's a reason why the market was absolutely saturated with that specific make and model of radio from that specific country just at that time. And now they are everywhere. They are everywhere. And I'm not saying anybody has put any sort of surprises in these radios, but the simple fact that there is a possibility of that being the case, no. I'd started doing all that prepping and everything, and I got rid of them, all of them. Um, even just to have on hand to listen in, um, you're still keeping it open to receive a signal. And if the signal is a kill command, I don't want to be next to it when it receives that message. In terms of transmitting, I don't care if it's amateur radio, uh, GMRS, FRS, whatever it is. If you transmit anything, there are all kinds of devices all around, manned, unmanned, whatever, that are listening specifically for transmission. Doesn't matter what you say, they're pinging the location. So I would rather not know than paint a target on myself. Those are pretty good. Um, the American, something like that. I had one, I lost it. I really don't know where it's at. A receiver like that, American made, whatever, vintage tech. Absolutely. That I would have. I would listen on that. I would have one of those to listen on all day long. Anything made after, oh man, I don't know. I'd say anything made after 2010. No, I'm not going to bring it in. Uh, Anything that's even thought about being two-way communication capable, it's not coming into this house after a certain age, because there's just way too much weirdness that can be done with it. So that's probably a good unit that you have there, Ross. Multi-band, AM/FM, shortwave ham. A lot of those have CB on it. You can listen to CB channels as well. By the way, my mechanical clocks, which are the coolest analog things that I own, among the coolest analog things that I own, have now just informed us that it is 7 p.m. Uh, Central Time. I don't know why I figured I'd point that out. I don't know if anybody's annoyed by those clocks or not. Uh, the two that I have in the living room, which is the closest room to here, there's no way to turn the chime off. The one that I have in my bedroom, I can turn that chime off at night. I always forget to, but so if the clocks get and the clock chimes get annoying for you, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to turn them off. I like them. They help me keep track of time because I have no sleep cycle, because I have no time is a fluid construct for me. So I need everything that I can have around me to kind of help keep me, I guess, centered on whatever. Hey, Bucky, were you looking for us? What I've been doing is I've been putting the link for the previous live stream. I might start doing this too. Putting the link for the previous live stream in the description like I do, and then in the pinned comment where I put the links to the pages that get mentioned during the live stream, I might also include a line with the link for the next live stream. I might do that. I don't know if I remember. I mean, and Wayne, I do agree. Radio communication is handy for the poo poo hitting the fan, depending on what flavor of poo poo it is. If you're talking about natural disaster, absolutely, it's necessary. You need to coordinate rescue, evac, all of that kind of thing. Um, in a man-made hostile type of scenario, two-way communication is very um, much of a trap as it is a resource. Okay, Bucky. Well, I appreciate your diligence, and I think to help people out, I think I'll start doing that. I'll start putting after I finish the one live stream and I schedule, because I always wait until after the live stream publishes before I schedule the next one so I don't confuse myself. So I'll probably just do that and then include the link for the next live stream and the pinned comment for the one that you were just in. Well, I mean, I talk a big game. I even did a video on this. I forget what playlist I put it in, but it's one of my more recent videos. I talk a big game, but I already know I'm the designated casualty. The logistical and tactical burden of just my presence in any kind of tactical or emergency scenario is triple what anybody else's is. I don't care how unskilled they are or what their logistical needs are. A person in a wheelchair is always going to be triple the logistical burden, triple the tactical problem inside of any environment like that. So I already know I'm designated casualty. I suffer no delusions whatsoever. But I do like to have things around for whoever kicks in my door to clean out my apartment. And no, that's not dark. I'm Gen X. There you go. I mean, if they can train pigeons to carry messages across hundreds of miles, then why not get cats to earn their keep a little bit? So I'm going to go ahead and open the can of worms in terms of channel mentions. Has anybody been around for Jesse to say when he's actually going to, what time slots he's actually going to change his live streams to? Because I tried to ask him during this afternoon's live stream, but I don't think he saw the question. I'm going to take a drink, take a sip with my kangaroo half a hands. Well, I mean, we did get a triple play of the spiel today, so maybe not, Shannon. Maybe he doesn't. Excellent, Bucky. I'm glad to hear it. Both the work picking up and that God has given you the ability to do it. And that's another thing. I joke a lot about how I'm an incomplete quadriplegic and I cosplay as a paraplegic. I am very grateful. I mean, I don't want to be um, flippant at all about the remaining function that I have uh, in my arms and hands and even a little bit in my legs, because I understand that those things, the residual function, is a blessing uh, from the hand of God, and I would not be able to enjoy the autonomy and the freedom and everything else that I have now if I didn't have that residual function. I would not be able to carry on like this. Um, it stinks that I'm alone, but the even with the combination of the disability and the disease, the sum total is still that I have enough function and enough uh, independence to still be able to live inside that isolation without it being overly burdensome. So I'm very grateful for the kindness and the wisdom of the provision of God. I'm, I, I mean, there's just no getting around that whatsoever. Also, I caught the what is that? Uh, the Bruce Almighty reference. Beautiful day. I wasn't so paranoid about eating on camera. I'd get like a bag of chips or something, like a veggie tray, or ooh, I could get like a cheese, meat, and cracker tray, and then just like chow down all the way through the live chat, and you guys can watch the cheese build up on my teeth steadily as we go. That might be fun. You've memorized the libraries? Well, one would hope, Roz, that at some point people would keep you around just because they like having you around. That should be the goal for everybody. I keep having dreams where I have two recurring dreams over and over and over when I actually sleep. One is that I'm doing something vitally important, right? Usually being watched by a lot of people. And in my dream, I'm not in a wheelchair. And it doesn't make sense to me that I'm not in a wheelchair doing the thing that I'm doing. I don't know where my wheelchair is. And then all of a sudden, I go from doing the very important thing with the very public audience. And then next thing I know, it's a fire, it's a flood, it's a invasion, raiders or something. And whatever function I had in my legs while I was doing a very important thing that people were looking at, and I couldn't figure out where my wheelchair is. I'm trying to get away from this catastrophe that's coming, and I'm on the ground crawling, tearing my upper body apart, crawling as fast as I can on my elbows and everything else to get away from whatever it is, and I never make it. Like I always get overtaken by whatever it is, and then I wake up. The other dream I have is I find myself in some kind of compound or something. Some big bad has happened or whatever. Um, and there's a whole bunch of people. I'm in the middle of a whole bunch of people that are in like some kind of holding facility, and the overseers or whoever they're going through and they're figuring out what everybody knows how to do. Um, to get them placed in labor camp or whatever, and they come to me having the disease, having the disability or whatever, and it's never like fixing the sewing machines or knowing how to sew or any of that other stuff that comes up in the dream. In the dreams, it's always, um, I've been told that you know how to play music and that you speak Russian, and I'm almost not bad at both of those things. And then I have like a very limited amount of time to get excellent at one of those things or get shot. So there you go. That's my that is my self-identifying neurosis of validity as a person, I guess, if we want to get Freudian about it. Okay, now I'm catching up in chat, and I'm sorry I was talking over your comment, Bucky. Well, thank you, Bucky. That is very nice. I feel so old. Progressive lenses, and then the lighting and the whatever, and I'm trying to read, and my eyes are doing whatever they want to. But yeah, that is an excellent encouragement, and I'm glad it's helping you, Bucky. I am. So thank you for speaking about that so candidly. That was very cool. Yeah, and in terms of being kind and patient with the knuckleheads out there, I'm one of the knuckleheads that's out there, and like in respect to myself. So like I mean I absolutely know that I'm not beyond doing some really dumb stuff, ill-advised, stupid, whatever. Um, and I don't have anywhere near the social skills I wish I did. And I know that, like a bull in the china shop, I can be cruising along doing my own thing and accidentally hurt 17 people and not even be aware of it. So I, yeah, I try to be as lenient with others as I know some people probably find themselves having to be with me. And it's nice because that takes the pressure off of me. I don't have to be an enforcer. I don't have to worry about hyper analyzing every single thing somebody does to me. Just be like, I don't understand. I'm not that person. I don't know what the thoughts are that's in their heads. I don't need to know. They might be trying to be a jerk, or maybe they just don't know how to not be a jerk in this situation. I don't know. So, because I don't know, because I know I don't know, I don't have to come up with a proper response, to trying to, weigh out whether someone's being a jerk or whether they're not. I just keep being, I don't know, hopefully just honest. Just, okay, let it ride, see what it turns into. Usually, eventually, you figure out what it was meant to be anyway. Yeah, this is true. That's what James says. I mean, I have my thoughts about some of the ways the book of James is handled, but it does have that gem, be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. You don't have to be, uh, you don't have to be a theologian to appreciate the validity of that wisdom. Elsewhere in Scripture, it says, "Soft answer turns away wrath." One second, please. Okay, I might be good now. I was having a preemptive thing in my neck, and it was starting to impact how I could breathe. So sorry if that freaked anybody out. It just happens sometimes. Well, Bucky, I don't try to start off with a topic because it might not be anything that anybody has need to talk about. Um, this is kind of just this is an invitation. It's the opportunity for people to be heard where otherwise they wouldn't be. I regret that it has to be my dumb face up here all the time. That people are looking at my voice. People are always hearing. Uh, the main importance here is what's going on in the live chat. People communicating either with each other, with me, whatever. You don't need to apologize for bringing topics into this thing at all. I don't. There's a reason I don't put topics into the titles of these live streams because we have no idea what's going to become necessary to talk about. You know, and that's kind of the way I have it set up for the. I mean, if people start coming to them, that's kind of the way I have the actual live gathering set up too. Everything's informal. It's not completely wild wild west open forum whatever, but it's an environment that's conducive to um, people just being comfortable talking about some of the things that don't necessarily always get airtime to be talked about. Specifically, of course, living inactive because of my own frame of reference, whatever. Um, Starting out with uh, physical disability and um, their care providers for people with physical disabilities. Um, you can wear it. I mean, Asian Smith might have some questions for you. I don't. Just if you're gonna wear it, cover my back too. Um, but is it don't like I almost hesitate to talk about this. There was a weird thing that happened this week. Um, and it sort of set off, my desire to seek the bed day. So I'm glad it worked out the way it did. But I received an invitation to a Zoom type meeting with the director of a certain local organization uh, presenting itself as being for disabled people. And this is a conversation I've had back and forth with them for over a year now. Um, and I'm not going to say too much about it, but I mean, it became very evident that, the entity was trying to hijack living in active gatherings and turn it into just another venue to promote themselves. And I'm not going to let that happen. And then one of the things that this person said was that, uh, sure, there's important things to talk about and everything else. And sometimes these important things are negative, but if they get too negative, then I just shut it down. I was like, I don't know what kind of fairy tale unicorn fart land you live in, but things are heavy. Things are painful. That's life. Those are the things that people need help with. So um, we don't trade in unicorn farts here. We don't we don't have to dwell in the darkness all the time either. But you know, if somebody's going through some heavy stuff, whatever, we don't have to shut them down and be like, "Oh, you're dragging the conversation down." Why don't you just cheer up and everything's fine? At least for my sake, I get to see you tell a joke, tell myself that you're okay. Meanwhile, your problem hasn't been dealt with. You haven't received those support that you need. But I'm okay. And then once the conversation ends, then I can feel like we had a good time, and so I'm good. I'm not going to do that to anybody. I'm not going to let anybody turn anything that I'm trying to do for people that need this kind of consideration and support into that. I'm not going to. So as soon as that person said that inside that meeting, I already knew exactly what my level of response was going to be. And that entire chain of communication, all of it, the invitation to coordinate, all of that was rescinded. I just considered the invitation rejected, and it was withdrawn, and that's not going to happen. It is not. I'm not going to let people be treated like commodities if I can help it. Roz is asking everybody if it's okay if he wears his revolver. I mean, if you've ever watched the movie Tombstone, they actually, even though it was the Wild Wild West, they were leading the charge to not let people wear their revolvers. So, whatever you think about Kurt Russell and Bill Paxton, Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott, either as actors or the people they're portraying, even in the Wild Wild West, there were people who were saying, "Don't wear your revolver." I don't know. My Chinese, have I? That's wrong shoulder. Have I introduced you guys to my Chinese spy panda? That's behind me. I love Tombstone. I really do. I mean, I talk smack about the anti 2A whatever that it starts creeping into, but other than that, the movie is just, I enjoy it a lot. So yeah, my Chinese spy panda, you see him hanging out in the flower pot, as hanging in the doorway to this particular room. My property manager took the doorway, or took the door out of the doorway, took it off the hinges or whatever, because I kept running into it and I accidentally broke the door. But since the hinges are there, I figured I might as well hang the flower pot there, and then I had to try to figure out what to put in the flower pot, and I found some weird looking, like a Doberman and a panda. So I ordered them, and I put the panda in the flower pot so it can stare holes in the back of my head. I turn the light on. Maybe you can see him better. And because I feel like he's staring holes in the back of my head, I just call him my Chinese spy panda. But here he is. He's not stuffed, okay? So before anybody starts thinking I deal in stuffed animals, he's not stuffed. He actually feels kind of taxidermy. So, pardon the interruption. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm a very poor host when it comes to continuity. Turn that off before I give myself a migraine. You guys, I'm running my mouth. You guys probably can't even hear me when I'm way over there. It looks like Xi Jinping. Pooh Bear. I don't know. I think I would have to question my own mental well-being if I had a Pooh Bear hanging out around here anywhere. I mean, as a single man of my age, without the benefit of having kids or grandkids around me having a Winnie the Pooh on premises. I don't think that would probably give me the same kind of questions that like a case of tampons would. Truth be told. Okay, hang on a second. So, could you guys still hear me when I was over there putting the Chinese spy panda back? I mean, because I was talking, I have no idea if you guys could hear me or not. Okay, good. Well, I mean, no one's asking me the questions yet, Roz, because I'm not doing the activity to spawn the questions. You know, I mean, I've never had anybody ask me to prove that I'm paralyzed, but I do still have a decal on the back of my van that says non-ambulatory wheelchair user, driver unable to stand or walk. Why? Because I've not yet been tased by a police officer for non-compliance, but I don't want to start. So I deal with the preliminaries in advance. Talk amongst yourselves. Always encouraged, Bucky. It's always encouraged. You know what I want right now? Forget the chips, forget the crackers, forget the meat and cheese slices. You know, I want a stinking pizza. I would really, really much like to have a pizza right now. That sounds just awesome. Or tacos. Tacos. I can make burritos all day long, but it's not. Leah is popping in for a few minutes before dinner. I was just telling these guys here. Second channel mentioned, by the way, this is Leah Fluke from Live to Roll. She was one actually who had said in the comments that my live streams coincide with their dinner. Not much I can do about that. But I do feel bad because they want to come to these, but you know, they have their own schedule. Yes, you did hear tacos because tacos, I can't trust myself enough because I get the spasms, especially in my right hand, with like prepping, um, like chopping onions, lettuce, tomatoes, whatever, for any decent amount of time. Because if I have my hand in a certain configuration for too long, I will spasm. I will stab myself. I don't know how many times I've stabbed myself with a screwdriver working on sewing machines. So, and between that and the space, and it's very hard to chop up just like one ration worth of like chopped lettuce or tomato, or whatever, to make tacos. I haven't had a decent taco in a long time. I haven't had any tacos in a long time, and I'm not going to do Taco Bell. That gastric distress hits me. I'm not going to be able to get out of my van fast enough to do anything about it. I have one rocker knife, Leah, and I use it, but I don't. I think I got like some kind of cheap knockoff or something because it's not. It just squirts food everywhere. Like if I try to cut anything like carrots or whatever, I could probably use it for lettuce, but it's not going to cut tomatoes. It's not going to cut whatever else. I need to get on the ball with that though. But in terms of, I would like to, because I have the half a hands. I was thinking at first that I get one of the easy grip things, and that would help me. But then I started having the spasms that go all the way through my right hand side, and I started stabbing myself with screwdrivers. So I was like, no, I just need to find a different way of processing food. Sean, hey, good to see you, man. I'm sorry I parked my live streams just before your dinner hour. I didn't mean to. How's the housewarming going? KFK. I don't know what brand mine is. Okay, Bucky. I appreciate you coming out. Thank you again for all the encouragement and the comments and your interactions in the live chat. Have a good night. God bless you, and have a safe shift tomorrow. I like 4:30 max. So am I keeping you away from your already late dinner? I'm sorry. It goes around your hand, Shannon. Have a good night, Bucky. So KFK, is that? See, now I'm gonna have to tell people to talk amongst themselves again because now I want to look that up and see what it looks like. The one I have has no brand. I mean, it's an Amazon special, I think, which explains its performance. KFK adaptive knife. I don't know. I'm guessing. Adaptive knife, adaptive chopper. Sorry for the extreme close up of my face. I know that's not what you guys wanted to see. You use it for cutting pizza? Is it like one of those two-handed like rocker knife things? No, you said it wraps around your hand. I would have to see a picture of that. I'm trying to picture what you're talking about. I don't think I've ever heard of it. KFK adaptive knife. Oh, okay. I would still be worried about. Yeah, I would still be worried about lacerations with that kind of thing. It would have to be like some kind of rocker knife or something where like when I have one of those spasms, just gets like pressed down and squirted out in front of me, and I can't like carry it back into center mass. See, I already closed it, but with the wrist stabilizer, that might actually keep it. Keep it. It locks your wrist out, right? So, like, if oh, okay, Shannon. So if it locks, like I'm imagining, it pretty much locks hand, wrist, forearm into a single unit. That's what it looked like. And then I suppose if I'm chopping or whatever and I do have that spasm, it would keep the blade pointed away from me until I recover, and maybe I wouldn't cut myself open with it. I'm gonna have to open that back up again, look into that. It would be. Then I just have to figure out how to make it. um, which would be cool, but there's only so many shop type things I can fit into a 1 bedroom apartment inside of an apartment complex. Still looking for a shop space. I mean, really, I do. I mean, I've been looking around. Anyone that's got like an old shed or garage or whatever that they don't really care about, that I could get into and just leave it open and work on things, and people could come by and we could do some like uh, design whatever type things, or just repair type things, whatever, for toys, adaptive equipment, mobility devices, whatever. But yeah, I would have to make friends with a legitimate. I would have to make friends with a legitimate blacksmith that has a forge and everything else. I'd be like, "Here's my picture. Please make this. I will pay you as handsomely as I can afford." I mean, I already get away with a lot with the sewing machines. Obviously, I don't use the foot pedal as a foot pedal. I put it up on the table and just kind of rest my hand um, on it and let the weight of my arm sort of, but it has to be a variable speed pedal. I let the weight of my arm sort of get it going a little bit, and it never goes fast enough for it to be a problem where I can't keep up with it just feeding it with my left half a hand. So, and then of course the hand crank stuff, which I can manage like this, kind of just putting the handle into the hollow of my palm. It's not very smooth or whatever, and it's not. I just don't have a lot of stamina in it, but I can still do it. I'm not digging nothing out of nowhere. I'm not, man. I wear myself out just lugging these machines around. You know, some of these older ones, 120 something years, they weigh 20, 30 pounds. I'm not. I'm still kind of as big as I used to be, but I'm nowhere near as strong as I used to be. Yeah, Shannon, I've seen those. There's actually a quilt shop just up the road from me. They are wonderful people. It's an entire family that owns it. The husband works on sewing machines. He's actually the one that kind of got me started into it. Um, and she runs the quilt shop, and they teach classes and everything. They are also first responders, which is cool. Um, but yeah, they have. I think it's Genome, but they have a bunch of those newer sewing machines that have the push button start stop. Yeah, I had to completely do away with having. I mean, I have like a little battery operated drill, but things like skill saws and stuff like that, I had no, I had to get once I started losing control of my hands for real. I had to get rid of them. So now I'm trying to. That's why I'm going back into old school tinkering. Like I want to like if I've got a clamp on bench vise, and I can like fabricate tiny little gears or springs or whatever just in tools that I can manage on my lap and build mechanical things. I would love to be able to get into that. That's why I've got all the old 1940s and earlier books on mechanical engineering and schematic drawing and principles of engineering and things like that, because I want to learn. I don't know yet. I would like to, just to increase the things that I'm able to actually do with what I have. Genome, there we go. Don't have the Genome, but I have a baby lock. I've got two brothers, a VX710 and a VX8 something, I think. And then I got a couple newer singers by like 1960s. That's what I mean by newer singers. And then everything else is like 100 years old. Oh, Sean and Leah, if you're still here, um, Did did that dude come and get your bonus um rat hotel off of the property? Did they come and make good on that? Because I know you guys have been kind of not really stressed, but it's been a trouble for you. So did they come and get it yet? You're free and clear of the rat hotel. You should hang on to it if it the absolutely hang on to that featherweight. I mean, you do not want to know what those things go for. Even the ones that are pretty much trashed. Anything that once someone finds out it's a featherweight, stupidly expensive. I don't care if it's an auction site, eBay, Goodwill.com, Etsy. I mean, they just get stupidly expensive on Etsy. People know what they are. People love them. People look for them. Don't ever get rid of it. And if you do, make sure it goes for what it's worth. Actually, the question I should have asked is if you've been able to get um, if you've been able to get out and about on your property. If you got I don't know if you were working on getting a different power assist or had gotten one or whatever. That's a question I should have asked because I'm curious about that too. Trying to refine my center in the chair here. I'm trying to. Oh, hang on. First, I got to plug my laptop in. I'm trying to overcorrect because I lean to the right constantly, and I lean to the right constantly to the extent that my right side guard, armrest, whatever thing is completely like it keeps blowing out. Like I have to keep adjusting it, tighten it back in, which I haven't done in a while, so it just flops around. So I have to keep constantly trying to reorient myself and lean to the left instead of to the right because I will one day fall out of the side of this chair. Well, probably not because I have the seat belt, but I'm not exactly. I'm loose and unsecure inside my ride. Oh man. Oh, that sucks. The free wheel is busted. Oh man. So have you ever seen there's a YouTube channel called Jerry Rig Everything, and they're probably stupidly expensive, but have you ever seen that not a wheelchair thing? You would probably rock on that thing, Sean, truth be told. I mean, if you get inside of one of those things, just tear it up, Leave it right next to you in like a side by side or three wheeler, four wheeler, whatever you guys want to do. Oh, got it. So are you gonna have is there gonna be a tech that comes out and does the repair for you, or you guys gotta fix it yourself? Because in my Chill Care companion, I had the same thing happen. The axle and the fork both got knocked around and messed up, whatever, and so it just wasn't able to be used. Um, and then they sent a tech out, and the tech was like, "I can't fix this," so they ended up having to replace the whole thing. And this is why Leah has earned the promotion from caregiver to wife. She is also apparently the power assist tech. It's cool though that you're handy like that though. Did you get that through Now I feel like I'm asking personal questions. Is that self-funded, or you got it through like insurance or something and they're just not ready to spring for repairs? See, I don't know what that is either. Stricker hand cycle? Is that for Sean? I've had people like tell me about hand cycles, but I mean my shoulders are already blown. So I mean, and the probably not, Raz. They live in the desert. They just moved out to the actual desert. So no, I don't think they want anything to do with our snow. Wow. I can't imagine any power assist device by any name being ever $250 unless it was from like 1800s. That is amazing. Oh, that's cool. Wait a minute. Oh, free will. I was thinking Firefly. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Now I feel dumb. I say dumb things. Two different things. Firefly is a power assist device. Freewheel is just a really big wheel that hooks to the front of the wheelchair. I should know this because I was thinking about getting one myself. I'm sorry. I just wasted a whole bunch of people's time asking dumb questions. So yeah, now that makes sense that the free wheel was $250. Wow. So, what's for dinner tonight that I'm keeping you from? Firefly reboot. I'm hoping that's a joke, Raz. If I would be, even though I have no intention or means of watching a Firefly reboot, I would be vicariously angry for the people who would have to sit for it if they actually did a Firefly reboot. That's all. You guys are awesome. I have such an appreciation for you guys. You are pausing on delicious chicken to sit here and hang out with us. I appreciate that. Or are you snacking on chicken while I run my mouth? See, I was talking about tacos earlier. Now you guys are having some delicious chicken tacos. There we go. Chicken tacos. That's the solution. Excellent. Priorities, man. I love it. It's good to hear. Pause, nothing. I will at one point remember when I reach for this thing that it's almost empty. So Sean and Leah, have you guys, uh, Rob and Tara and Angry Quad have done a couple live streams of their own, of their own. I've caught a few minutes of one Wednesday. I don't know. No, because if you give me the beer helmet, then I will drink more sweet tea than I do, and that's not going to be good for anybody, especially me. I'm trying to. That's like my one lingering processed sugar habit is sweet tea, but I'm a Southern boy. I feel like I'd be denying myself my heritage if I completely gave up sweet tea. I don't even put sugar in my coffee, but I gotta have the sweet tea. Well, if nothing else, everybody knows I'm hydrated. So who's still here? Roz is still here. Sean and Leah are still here. Did Shannon leave? Wayne's gone. I think Wayne's gone, or he might just be listening. Bucky left. Waiting for the. What is Project Hail Mary? Well, I mean, realistically, Roz, I mean, I do have a neurodegenerative thing, and too much sugar intake is not a great thing for me at all. Hey, Shannon, you are still here. Cool. Yeah, I've only caught a few minutes of one of their shows. Um, I think Angry Quad just has a different sense of humor than I do. I get confused easily whenever I like watch them for too long. I don't mean anything by it. I mean, I'm whatever. I just don't get it. But he is he's very helpful. Um, and he is very concerned with helping other people. So your stalker cat, is it actually your cat, Shannon, or is it just like your neighbors that won't stay out of your window? Oh, did you guys go check out Connor and Marissa? Carissa explains it all. I mean, I know it was just a couple days ago. Um, yeah, unfortunately, I can't have stalker cats or puppies here, uh, according to the lease. Um, and my Chinese spy panda would probably tell on me if I did get one. Uh, oh, very cool. Okay. And yeah, they're completely new to the whole YouTube thing, so they're sometimes they ask questions about like trying to figure out how to do whatever for their channel, and I'm like, I'm not the person to ask. I don't know. You guys are better at that, so I figured it would be good for you guys to link up at some point, and they could you can bounce ideas back and forth, so they can think whatever they want to do for their channel. Not to say that you guys have to get put to work. I mean, it'd be cool if if you guys are just friends with each other. That would be awesome too. Well, I don't. That's that's the trouble with time zones. Like and because of the fact it's compounded by the fact that I don't have a discernible sleep schedule or whatever else, and it's very hard for me to keep a schedule for anything. I'm surprised I've been able to do to maintain the schedule as I have for the actual on-site live gatherings and this. Um, there's probably going to be a time where I have to tell everybody, "Look, I'm sorry, I just can't do the show tonight." But and I've already had to leave one gathering in Lancaster very early, and I had to cancel one entirely in Boscobel just because there wasn't any way I could do it. But you add to that the time zone differences, and it's like, and plus you guys are just really busy. I didn't plan that at all. I didn't even look at my clock. But yeah. So the third mechanical clock that I don't think you guys can hear from here is on the other side of my apartment in my bedroom. Um, and that thing is boisterous. It sounds like it was made for a factory floor or something. It's not a Westminster chime, but I mean it has authority. So there's two in the living room. One's from 1908. It's a Sessions clock. Um, there's another one. It's a Commodore from 19. I think that's the Commodore. No, the two in the living room. One is a 1965 Linden clock. Then there's a 1908 Sessions clock, and then there's a 1950s Commodore clock in the bedroom. I'm not quite as big of a nerd on the mechanical clocks as I am with the sewing machines or the typewriters, but I've only got space to put the three clocks, so I have them. I even had to fabricate, and make modifications to the pendulum on the 1908 clock. Um, I haven't done well. I did kind of sort of one when I first got them, but I could probably do. Yeah, I could probably do clock tour at some point. I could do the typewriter tour too if I knew my typewriters better. But I've got to get better at actually servicing the typewriters. I have a whole bunch, not a whole bunch. I've got like five or six. I've got, well, I was actually thinking about grabbing a laptop and rolling around with it and being like, see, here's one clock. See, here's another clock. But that would get weird fast. Uh, um, and I'm not taking them off the wall to bring them in here because then they'll stop and I have to reset them and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I'm going to have to figure out a decent way to do um, some kind of clock thing, preferably when they're about to chime. Like, I'll have to find like a 10 or 11 or maybe either noon or midnight, and then kind of tweak them so that they all sound off kind of the same. And that can be either how the video ends or begins. I don't know. It's a pretty good idea. Roz, if you just tried to post a link, the tubes of you don't allow that in live chat. Plus, you probably, I don't know. I'm surprised you guys can see me as well as you do in here because I have the lighting set for, except for this thing that's in my face. I have the lighting set in here um, to do what I can to try to prevent as many migraines as possible because the light sensitivity is a thing. I would too. And I would like to be, I would like to, I maybe if I put one in there, it would work, but that's why you got to go back and do everything like if like any page that's mentioned, and now I have two others to add as well because I mentioned them. But the pinned comment in all of these live streams has the links to all of the pages that I mentioned, or the pages represented by the people that come to live chat. So, Live to Roll is going to be in here. Kicking with Robin Tower is going to be here. Angry Quad's going to be on that um, in that pinned comment. Gen X Thinks is going to be in there. Is anybody that I'm forgetting? Oh man, I hope not. I'm gonna have to watch this whole thing over again. Make sure that I didn't forget anybody. Oh, are the I don't know if she even has a page, but I'm gonna say her name even though she's never come in here. Are you guys still doing the Friday peer mentoring things with Nicole? Is that still going on? I was gonna I don't know. I was gonna try to get going. Which room is this? Hey, brother 33. Oh my goodness. This is another page. You guys some of you have already met brother 33 in an earlier I think maybe Wednesday. When was the last time you were here? I don't remember. Oh, it ended. Oh, okay. Um but brother 33 has two channels. I'm going to mention them both in that pinned comment. Not Much Time 33 Outdoors, which is the name he's under here, and another one called Nameless Preacher. And Not Much Time 33 Outdoors is he literally goes outside and he records his walks through the woods year round, and he posts them for the benefit of people who can't get out in the woods anymore or walking around. He walks by rivers or whatever, and he literally does this for his own enjoyment, but also for people that can't get out and about, so they can have 20, 30 minutes or whatever it is of being able to have the trek through the woods vicariously through his work. And he has been a very loyal and encouraging uh, friend and brother to Living and Active as a channel, all of the Living and Active channels, for probably the last 4 years. Excellent, Leah. I hope you do. This room, by the way, brother 33, this is my shop room. This is where I work on the machines. This is where I do this is where I work on the machines and where I do the sewing. I was trying to think if there's anything else I do in here, but no, not really. It's all sewing and sewing machines in this room. Now that I got rid of all the knitting and the weaving and the whatever. But yeah, so brother 33 is just cool. He's awesome. I'm always um, I'm excited when he comes in here. Glad you can make it. I am glad you can make it, brother. I'm going to stop talking about you and start talking to you. I'm very glad to see you here. This is very cool. Oh, also, Sean and Leah in here from the Live to Roll channel. They just moved out to the desert, so I think they're working on actually getting equipped to do some treks of their own. So if you ask them really nicely, they might do a chair eye view of whatever adventures they managed to have out in the dirt. Sand, sorry, sand, not dirt. It's a desert. So have you posted part two of that most recent walk that you did where the snow had already melted off? Have you posted part two of that, or did I miss it? I hope I didn't miss it. I try to stay up on your videos as much as I can. Okay, cool. No rush, man. You do you. Um, but yeah, you get some like really cool videos. So, returning back to the Nicole question, does she have a page? Is there I mean, does she have a channel that I should be remembering to put a link to? Well, I mean, you guys do a lot. I mean, the coordination that it takes for all of the various live streams that you guys do all through the week is just amazing. Plus all of the other stuff you do with Triumph or whatever. Um, oh, okay. Yeah, I could do that. So, see, now I've got okay. Gen X thinks, Live to Roll, Kicking with Robin Terra, Angry Quad, Brother 33's channels, and Nami. Is that everybody? Yeah. I was down for 2 days, Roz. I was down having my bed day or whatever for 2 days. And then body said, no, that's enough time in bed. So I got up, I had all kinds of energy, and then I was just like zooming through all kinds of errands to get groceries or whatever I needed in the house. And it started getting really, really cold. And people were like, oh man, yeah, it's a good idea to get everything you need before the weather comes. I was like, what weather? I haven't been listening to anything. And yeah, apparently we're under blizzard warnings and all kinds of stuff. Roz is even further up north in Wisconsin. Well, I'm actually not very far north into Wisconsin at all. I'm in the southwest corner. I'm closer to Dubuque, Iowa than I am to Madison, Wisconsin. Um, I think Madison is even farther north up than I am. Farther north up, whatever. But you got more. Slow down, relax. You have more You've got more snow. 33. Yeah, Sean and Leah live in California, not Colorado. Bit of a difference. Who is from Colorado? I'm trying to think of anybody that comes in here regularly is actually from Colorado. Maybe. Oh man, now I can't remember where Connor and Marissa are from. I don't know. Maybe it's somebody else that come in here, or it could just be because you like Colorado. I don't know why I do that. Like I feel obligated to try to keep track of all this stuff. Like I feel like a bad host if I don't. I think the furthest west of the Mississippi I've ever been is um, Houston, Texas. I think that's the farthest west I've ever been. I've always wanted to explore the West. I've been all over the East, all over the North, all over the South. Never been West. Oh, also, I got to remember in the pinned comment to put a link to the next. That's what I told Bucky, right? So in the description uh, below this video, there's going to be uh, there is the link to the previous live stream. And at the bottom of the pinned comment, after I list all of the pages represented by the people that are here that were mentioned, channels, not pages, this is not Facebook. Then I'm going to put the link for the next one that's scheduled. Oh, Roz, if I could, if I could, if only all the way back to before I got hurt, half of my life would be gone. Like I'd have to go so far back. Oh my goodness. Uh, I don't. I'm not sure. Yeah, I've thought about that sometimes. Like because all of the things that happened, all of the worst things that happened after I got my initial incomplete lumbar spinal cord injury at the age of 26, because so many of the just heavy and dark and terrible things that happened were tied, at least in part, to that event. It's really dark territory for me to sit there and be like, well, gee, I wonder what it would be like if that hadn't happened. Because then I get into, well, this wouldn't have gone wrong. I wouldn't have made this decision. You know, I would have been better equipped to choose to do this instead. And then I just get so completely lost in the weeds that I'm like, I've got to, actively work to pull myself out of the what if hole. So I don't like playing in that territory. Me personally. There are 8 people here, according to the little counter thing up on the top of the screen. That's awesome. That's cool. I celebrate the fact that I have 41 subscribers to this channel. I'm very easy to please. In terms of social media, I guess that makes me a cheap date. No, man. If if I could go back to the point of the initial injury, none of anything that happened after, well, one, I'd probably still be in the military. But the people that I was around, the units or whatever, all of that stuff would have been different. All of it. The furthest west you've been is Milwaukee. Wow, I thought I was missing out. Sorry, that probably wasn't fair. So, did you live in Milwaukee, or are you just like taking a trip just to check out the beer and the brewers or the Harley factory? Maybe you were in Milwaukee for the Harley factory when that was still, I guess, somewhere worth being. So, what the speaking of Harleys, the guy that, and another thing I'm going to have to add to that pinned comment are a couple links to this guy John that I was talking to after that failed Zoom meeting that I spoke of earlier in the live stream. I'm not going to go back through that, but sort of an outcome of that is I was introduced. No, it's not a rule. Um, I just like especially channels that I know do things that actively uh, try to give some kind of decent support to other people, just whether it's um, you know, and I've actually asked like Sean and Leah, um, Connor and Marissa, Rob and Tara. I've asked all of them. I've asked Jesse over at Gen X Things. I've asked all of them individually if it's okay if I use their names and talk about their channels, whatever. Um, it's not a rule. It's just something it's like professional courtesy. Oh, okay, Shannon. Sorry, I didn't mean to seem to be putting you down. I was just, I don't know why I had that kind of reaction to it. No, it's just something I like to do to kind of, you know, because truth be told, all of the stuff that's here on Living and Active, and there is quite a bit. There's a lot of content, there are a lot of topics and everything else, and they all have their places. But I don't presume to be a be all and end all for anybody for anything. And so, if there's other places where people might find helpful information or just get to know decent people, then I absolutely have no problem with allowing people the opportunity to do so without having to jump through a bunch of hoops. Yeah, Wayne, I've made a couple visits to the other hemisphere myself. Um, I don't know if I would count that as any kind of. You know what? I'm not going anywhere near Minneapolis. I'm not. Uh, Same Chicago. I've registered for the abilities. I'm gonna have to end this soon. I'm starting to fade really fast. But I registered for the Abilities Expo in Chicago in June because that's the closest one. But I have no idea if I'm going to be able to manage the logistics of actually getting there. Uh, in terms of, I hated driving Chicago when I was able bodied, when I actually had a neck that worked, that could swivel right, when I had reflexes, when I had full control of all of my limbs. I can't imagine driving in Chicago now. I barely manage, Grant County, Wisconsin here for sometimes. Yes, they also stop in Portage. Wisconsin Dells. That's another place I haven't been since I have not been since the wheelchair. It's Wisconsin Dells. I used to go there all the time because I grew up in Marquette County, Baraboo and Wisconsin Dells and all that stuff's right there. Um, I just haven't been. And right now, it's even with the van and everything, it's beyond my it's beyond my driving range, really. To get back up there. I would love to get back to like Marquette County where I grew up. Uh, Wisconsin Dells, Baraboo, all of that stuff. I just can't drive that far anymore. It is a nice time. There's a lot to see and do there. It's a tourist trap. It's what it is. But if you go there expecting it to be exactly what it is, then you're going to have a good time. And I don't know how many of those attractions are actually wheelchair accessible. I really don't. Like I said, I've never been there in the wheelchair, so I've had no reason to try to see what is actually um, accessible or not in Wisconsin Dells. And Brother 33, that sounds like an awesome idea. That would be cool. Outdoor lives, like that would be awesome. I think. I don't know how that would. I don't know what kind of equipment or setup you would have to have. If it's like a live like walkthrough, like walk with me type thing. I don't. I have no idea what you need for equipment for that kind of thing. Um, if I had a smartphone, I could probably mount a rig onto the arm of the wheelchair and just roll around, and then people wouldn't be able to see me, and I wouldn't be able to see the chat or interact with anybody, but they'd be looking at what I was rolling around to look at. Oh yeah, I used to love to drive everywhere. I would drive back and forth across the country. Did not care. Can't do it anymore. I used to drive for fun and profit. I was When I was living on the Gulf Coast. I had a route between Grand Isle and Aransas Pass, Texas, and up into Arkansas, port to port. I loved it. But that was just a 1 ton flatbed. It wasn't a big rig or anything, but still. But that was also that stopped paying decently. So then I went to the single coolest summer job I ever had, and this was obviously before I lost most of the function that I no longer have. But I did work a summer with Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries on the alligator crew, and that job was as awesome as it sounds. It was fantastic. I loved that. That was an awesome summer. I almost feel bad for this just because live chat is going so awesome and people are talking and connecting. Um, but I'm coming to the end of my usefulness here. Um, I don't want to interrupt you guys' conversation. That's what I'm worried about right here. I mean, this is awesome. This is a good group. They're having good conversation back and forth. And now all of a sudden I'm starting to have problems. Well, yeah, but I'm also enjoying myself. I mean, I'm struggling, but I'm enjoying myself. Just watching you guys get along. My health is already a foregone conclusion, dude. But I appreciate it. Um, but yeah, I am going to have to. I don't have much choice. I am going to have to start listening to my AD and go take care of things. I'm not worried about you guys, Shannon. I'm just being considerate of you guys and the good time that you're having. But I am going to have to go. So I probably don't have time to rehash all of the highlights and stuff that I usually do at the end of these things. Um, Rewind all the way to the beginning to get all of the housekeeping stuff. But I'm grateful for everybody that came out. I'm glad you were all getting along and having great interactions. I will seriously try to remember all of the links and the whatnots and the channels and everything in the pinned comment. Um, yeah, I wasn't planning on doing this for 2 hours, but I'm glad it was. I'm glad I leave the ending time open just for these extended conversations because they're excellent to see. Um, but I appreciate all of you. I'm glad you were all here. God bless you all. Be safe. Be cool. Be good at it, as I say over in Gen X. Thanks. Um, as I say here on Living and Active. Until next time, if there is a next time, and there might not be, God be with you. I have got to go. I'm sorry, y'all. Please have a good night. God bless you.